this year. Then it's about the non-visual art and inclusive society. Um, I'm from the National Zhongxin University, but before last year, I worked in the National Museum of Fine Arts. Has everyone been there? Okay. Um, okay. Wait a moment. I need to. Okay. Oh, I think I could see everyone if I want to control the PowerPoint at the same time. So
Yeah, we'll
I
let you know. We'll
I'm
make some noise.
okay. Okay, I may miss your reaction. So if you need to give me the height or some message, please just open your microphone. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, here is my introduction, but I don't have that much time, so I just give quickly talking about it because I changed I think the three works. So originally I work in the elementary school to teach the fine arts and the visual arts for the elementary school, the primary school students. But I think it's about 15 years ago, in my school, I I already taught the blind student in my class. So that is my first time to meet them and think about how to teach them. Then later, I quit my job. Then I went to the National Taiwan Museum of Fine Arts to be a curator. So I have the opportunity to try to curate the accessible exhibition and display, and I will show you later. But last year, now I'm working in the National Zhongxin University. Now I'm still study on the research about the tactile diagrams for the blind people. Okay, then the first of all, I want to give you some the questions you can think about it. Why do we need the non-visual arts in inclusive the society? Okay, um, I will show you some the brief the theory. Why the visual impairment people, okay, learn art, why they need to learn. Because many people will tell me they are visual impaired. Why, why you want to teach them the visual arts? But for the human beings, we know if we want to learn the visual art, we can treat our the critical thinking, and we also can train our the language skill, um, and it will increase your the self awareness. And if you know how to draw and you can express your emotion, then you can take the drawing as your long life the learning or interesting. um, and as well, also you also can learn the sensory training, like your tactile perception or your the auditorial the ability. So you also can operating practice in your life. But for the visual impaired people, if you teach them to learn the visual art, they will know how to increase the ability to read the braille, and also they will help them to um, to train the mobility and the orientation skill, and to help them to live independently. And also the tactile perception or texture understanding is also important for their living, to understand their information around the land, so they can increase the social interactive with others and increase the confidence by themselves. So that's why I think we should give them the opportunity to learn visual arts. But in Taiwan, even in the Taipei, the special school for the visual impaired student, or in Taichung, or in the Huimin, the blind school, they don't have the visual art teacher, and they don't their teachers, they don't want to teach them the visual art, or we have to say they don't how to do that. So I think the important is that we need to give the improve the inclusive the education first, then try to connect the inclusive museum, then we can create a inclusive society. So that's why I changed my position and my job in the 15 years. So I think that first of all, I want to share with you what I've done in our education for the visual impaired and blindness students. Okay, here is a non-profit organization I established in the 2014. Uh, it's called the Taiwan Art Beyond Vision Association. And this picture is what I teach the Huimin, the blind school student, that teach them how to draw their self-portrait. Okay, and here is our information from internet. So if you're interested, we will share not only the non-visual events, we also will share some the accessible technology information or some exhibition or art news. Okay, in this page. Okay, so you can follow this. And here is the I published this book in the 2018 because the many teacher, the not only art teacher, even the other field teacher, they will send email to me or call me to ask me, can you offer some the material or information to help me how to know how to teach the blind student in my class? And their class or their school is a normal school, so they have the sight student and very few the blind students, so they don't how to teach them. So that's why I want to publish and try to give them some material and some case study, and to help them, and they can find some better material or media to teach them and find some method to may just change their the procedure or the tool, and they will help them to also learn some art creation activity in their class. Another one is this year I published the Taiwan experiments of the inclusive art with the Japanese scholars, and we published some theory and the practical case to try to combine the all Asia country. So for me, I charge to share the Taiwan and the situation and what I'm done in the nonprofit organization and the museum. So if you interested, you can try to find out, but it is Japanese. Okay, here is I want to separate my idea or what my research to different field, like the visual art education and the spatial education. So I try to uh, share what I'm done uh, in not only art field. I also want to um, change the situation to tell the special education a teacher or the research they should believe the visual impairment student they can express the art education and they can try to um, learn the drawing, the taking picture, or the try to create the sculpture. And later I will show you. Here is what I'm thinking. I think there are 6 aspects for the development of the art education for the blind. So I try to collection the what I already told or I already the design the class or curriculum for the blind people, and I found I separate the 2D drawing representation and the 3D. They have they have the relationship because you have to learn 3D first, then you will know the 2D drawing, how to use the diverse visual projection and the viewing angle, then you will get the 2D drawing. So I think that there is very related. And also they have to learn the multisensory manipulation skills and to help them to know how to use the tool, even a knife or scissor. I always teach them in my class. And also the recognition and the communication of image is also important because now we try to offer the more and more the audio description information for them. So the blind students, they have to know what does it mean or the how I can understand the audio description, the content. And others is the spatial orientation and mobility ability. Because they always they use their mind mapping to understand how to move their body to go where they want to go. So I think that this spatial ability is really helpful uh, for them to learn drawing because there is also another the view, the angle, viewpoint, and the projections from the top view. Okay, so um, I think that it's very important to learn this skill, and the drawing can help them to learn O&M, the ability. And the last one is understanding the descriptive image and the video. I think that is related with the recognition and the communication of image. Just what I say, um, like what I say, the audio description, you have to learn and you have to listen and understand. So here is the first one, the multi-sensory manipulation skill. And this is students come from maybe the inclusive the school or from the spatial school. But you can see they also use the scissor, the knife, and they have to try many different material because I believe they will touch or use these tools one day when they grow up and they have to live independently and they have to learn and they need to know how to use them safety. So That's why I teach them when even they just the elementary school student. And here is I created some right line drawing picture for them because we know the symbol or the sign we will use in the public the space to offer them, to touch them and understand what the this sign stand for. So I think that we have to give them the opportunity to create to increase their memory, the tactile perception for uh, the icon or the symbol around their life. So you can see maybe it's a car, it's a house, or it's a telephone. They need to know, and from their experiments for touching, they will understand there's some visual art elements like the symmetric, or you will know the spatial relation. And here is the 2D drawing, the presentation, because we will teach them the different angle, and you will get the projections into the 2D diagrams. And so you can try to combine the flat and together, then you will get a new one. So here is we teach them the drawing, or we use the printing making. Then they will understand uh, why this picture is a transfer from the 3D world or 3D object. And here is a 3D model and sculpture. Um, and I remember this the case is the same contents I teach the science student, but I just changed a little message or add some spatial the color elements to help them, because the science student they need to use the color pigment uh, to paint on the cup, the surface. But I try to teach them you can just use the color pigment and into um, your material and try to mix together. So you don't need to use the same way as the side students, but they can create the similar artwork as the side student. So I teach them that maybe you have to know the 3D object from the dot, from the line, and the surface structure. Then you will know how we built the 3D modeling and sculptures. And here is a spatial orientation and mobility, but I teach them how to taking pictures by using the camera, so they will know how you have to move your body, and how you measure the distance and your body and your target or the other object or the spatial and environment. And also the skill, the orientation mobility skill, also can use in the Chinese, the calligraphy, the creation class. Then they have to touch the wetness and dryness to separate the position and the composition. Try to get the right shape or their line or they want to express. So so after they're taking picture, and they will get the very spatial image. What I why I say the spatial, because the you just looking the pictures from your visual perception and from your the visual understanding, but from their image you can try to find out other sensory information, like the left and the up one. I think this one, they will hear the some sound and the voice, and they will try to take the picture. And the next one, they made the smell some the good food, and they want to take picture. And or the others, they maybe the feel the soft or the hard word or the ground, and they want to feel them and try to take picture. And so after they taking picture, we will give them the audio description for them to understand what they are taking and why they want to taking, to try to express their feeling and experiments. Okay, here is the color class I teach them. And because I think not only the color is why I want to enforce to let everybody know the color is really important for them, because we know the color is not only for the visual recognition, but they also stand for many um, diverse the meaning, like the social, the symbol, or some the important information from the nature worlds. So I teach them the color, and I also use the only private color like red, yellow, blue, and they have to know how to mix them and to get the second color, like the green, the purple, and the orange. So they can learn the color information and the color the principle, and but they also can connect their experiments from their daily life, like we use the some food or some flower to connect their smell experiments to understand the color. So we also try to the food pigment and connect with their drawing events. Then they can create and then they can smell them. So I think these case studies I the 2 years ago I published in Japanese magazine. And here I can show you the short video to show how we teach them. And the first one is a drama class, but I invite a visual impaired teacher to teach them. This one, okay, the Xu Jiafeng teacher, and he's a late blind person, but he tried to keep learn art and teach the drama for the blind students. So I think it is really important to give them the confidence to learn anything about art, because they will know, oh, my teacher, even he loses his vision, but he can do what he wants to do. Okay, and the next one is Chinese calligraphy. As what I said, we teach them how to know the composition, and we just use a very simple method and skill, and they can measure the size of the paper, and they can use the similar gesture and the way to holding the pen or the brush, and they can get the right the position they want to draw. And here is I teach them their Chinese name. Even they only learn the Braille name and learn how to type and reader braille. And I think their name is really important for the future life. So I try to make their name into the line and to make the drawing a picture. And this one is I teach them how to taking the photography, and we use some garlic to give us some smell information. Okay, and here we also prepare many tactile picture to help them to understand the 2D projection idea. And here's the 3D printed sculpture. We scan their hand and we help them to understand their face and try to create a new one. And this is another the teacher with the low vision, and I invite her to teach them to bake the desserts for their exhibition opening. So they can connect their experiments with the modeling and the baking. And I think this one is I teach them the color and the drawing, and they have to use their body and try to know the color and pick up the one they like or they don't like. So they can try to express in their like this one, their printing making, and they can choose any one. And here's the portrait. Okay, here's the portrait they draw, and I think the last sections is they try to express their feeling after class, but it's Chinese, so I just skipped. And here's after class, I try to use their or artwork to curate one exhibition. So I think that this one is the artwork is fun, not visual, and but I display the artworks also with a non-visual display way. So here you can see it's also from the video. They need to guide for the audience by themselves. So they have to introduce their artwork. Okay, this is opening, and this is a gallery. So it's a illuminate the art gallery in Taichung, and you can see the many different media and the material, and they can come to the gallery and touch their sculpture, and not only then everyone can touch. Okay. And here is the teaching material we want to show to everybody to know how we teach them and how we to try to make the teaching material to help them to understand the picture or their face or the head. And here is like the universal design. I try to create we just print the poster with the many information with the large print, but we also give the braille information on it, so you can see, and the blind people also can touch the information. And here's another the blind professor. It's a Wang Jianli professor. It come to the gallery and try to know the artist, the 8 artists in the gallery. So he just touched the braille to gain the information. Okay, later we also try to transfer the artwork to different museum and different city, and like this to Taidong, yeah, the art center. Okay, and here is the Taichung 放送局. I don't know his English name. And his is in the library, also in Taichung, the public information library. And you can see we also give some rice line material near their original painting. So if you come here, you could not touch the painting, but you can touch the rice line, the board. Then you can know the drawing line and the face shapes. Okay, and here is their body drawing. And here is in the TED, TED and Taipei, and because I was invited to be a speaker, then I tried to bring their artwork to Taipei to show everyone, and more and more people can understand. Blind student or blind people can do the visual art as the sight people. And here is I work with a digital art festival, and I work with one artist and try to give him the visual art idea. And I also asked to show their painting in the exhibition in Songshan creative the industry area. And here is the one blind audience that come to visit the painting. Okay, I try to guide them to help them to believe they also can do in their life. And here is their artwork to show with the famous art artist. Okay, in Taiwan, the contemporary artist. So here is the Niu Junqiang, and I also show their artwork together in Poki Gallery in Taichung in the 2018. And here you can see we also print their artwork, their painting on the package, the outside of package of coffee. So the people, you can buy it and you can bring their artwork picture to your home. And here's I teach some volunteer and university student to create the uh, tactile tactile picture and audio description together the material, and you will know how to transfer, try to interpret from the visual information into tactile information. Maybe you have to change the color into line or into the some pattern. Then you also have to try to write down the audio description content and recording them, and just show the QR code on the material. Then the blind people can scan it and touch the right line picture, so they can hear and touch at the same time to increase their understanding. Okay, this is another case. And here is the double vision. Because you just see the original picture is from Mondrian or from the Van Gogh, but the surface is touchable because there are many the rice line and the rice surface uh, on the same board. So we also try to create many university design material to help them to understanding more and more the art information. And here is the Wenhui Art Award in Taiwan. And I think that is 3 years ago, because this contest is for the disabled people to draw in the picture book, and they will choose the better one and try to give the exhibition around Taiwan. But 3 years ago, they found um, we present the disabled people their artwork, but we ignore may have made the disabled people also will come to this exhibition to try to appreciate this artwork. So they want to create some tactile their artwork to for the blind audience. So they try to invite me to create. So you can see we also use the double vision. So you don't need to create the one more or the spatial one, and they just the send for the sight and the visual impaired people. And here they not only has the lot print, they also give we also give the braille information on it. Okay, here I think it's 2 years ago in the Taiwan University. Uh, then here we give the more the sensory information, like the first one. We give the some smell. Then you can connect with the content or the idea of the uh, visual contents. So, or you can touch the real object. It's the same as the from the pictures. So, like the second one, okay, you can touch the wing, the wings object. And here is the deaf the artist, the left one. I think that you can recognize his their assisted device. So we just put a real one in the exhibition to help the people understand. And I think this is the last one. Now I'm try to design and create more um, the content or the class for the both sight and the blind people, because I think that they have to living uh, with the sight people in the future. So I try to give some class, the art class, then the sight student and the blind student, they have to create together. Then they will know maybe the blind children need some visual information from sight student, but the sight student will understand the blind student, they have the better tactile perception and some the hearing abilities. And this is another the short video, but I won't play all of them, because I try to give this whole content to our education military, to give the normal school they can apply this course.
作者蒙特里安。
So they can touch the double vision or only the right slide the picture. So they can understand the artist and the content. So we also teach the color, the private color, to help them to. And here is we try to combine the food so they can even eat in the classroom. And the second one is the line and Picasso. So we also create some different shapes, line, and stand for different meaning. And here's the Chinese calligraphy. Okay. And here we teach them the printing making to know the geometric. And the last one is Van Gogh. And I try to combine the color, line, and shapes, the elements together, and add the spatial information. So I use the Van Gogh, the Starry Night artwork to try to help to teach them you have to create the one layer and one layer. So you have to start from your background and to the foreground. Okay. So it's a sighted student and a blind student. They work together. Okay. Okay, I think the last one is the social inclusion in the museums. So here I have given quickly the introduction for what I'm done in our museum. I think the everyone will know here this one, the AD means for audio description, and here is for the these icons for the visual impaired audience, and this is guide door, and this is white can and large printer and braille. And I think I need to skip this one because this is the research I did many years ago, and I tried to collect the many case in Taiwan since the 1993, and to now, then we will know the many museums try to offer the more and more the service and the material and the facility for the blind and visual impaired audience. And here's some picture. And this is Pu Tianshen Sculpture Museum. They offer the sight and the blind people, they can touch the original sculpture. And here is also my research I collected from the UK and France and Canada and the USA. Many cases what they did for their blind audience. And here is in National Taiwan Museum of Fine Arts. We bring them to touch the here's the 水牛群像仿黄土水, and also create some tactile diagram to help them to understanding. And after the guide tour, we give them some workshop, and like this one, not only students or children, we also teach the adults. And here's after the guide tool, they create some making, print making artwork from the Chen Ting Shi. And here's also I did the development in National Museum of Fine Arts. If you're interested, you can download or scan right now. And this app is I try to develop to give some, not only some, I think it already has the almost 100 audio description, audio clips, and the sign language video. So if interesting, you can download. So not only the drawing, also content include the photography and the architecture exhibitions. So here is what you can see if you download this app. So here's the photography, architecture, sculpture, okay, and the drawing or the multimedia. And there are three models. The near one is you have to be in the museum. Then you can, if you go into the area with the device, the iBeacon device, then if you in the sensor area, then the audio description, the clip will auto trigger. Then if you choose the map, you can see, then you can choose which one you want to listen first, and or you. So this one is for the low vision, the people with low vision, and the last one, the least model. Why I want to create this one, because you may want to listen again or repeat again, after you were visiting experiments. So you can use this model and repeat it many times. And here's the iBeacon device. So the iBeacon device is use the Bluetooth the function. So you have to open the Bluetooth the functions from your mobile phone, or you can borrow the guided machines from the museum counter. And here's the tactile map. You also can borrow from the service counter. And why I want to develop the application for the visual impairment people, I think the most important reason is usually the museum only offer the group the opportunity. Then if you can find the 10 friends, then you can apply the group, the guide tool, then you can come to museum. But if you are only one person, how can you come to museum, and how can you get the service or the guide information? So I think the technology can to help this. So here, I want to give them the opportunity to visit the museum independently. And here's another I curate in the 2017, the photography exhibition. So it's only the visual contents in the exhibition, and I quickly skip the normal spatial and the situation and the conditions in the exhibitions. And I really like this one. Why? Because I also display the sign language video in the exhibition, but not only the people with the hearing impairment want to see the sight people, or we would say able people. They also want to watch the video. So that's why I want to do. I want to do the more and more accessible the information for everyone, not only for the disabled people. Okay, here, and you can see the braille is just put in the next to the label. Okay. It's a workshop. It's for children. So I think that this photography is for everyone, not only for children, or not only for disabled people. But this area is you everyone can come here and touch or listen the audio description at the same time. So I put the tactile map in front of the exhibition room, and here is large print of tactile diagram and the braille, and we also give the audio the information, audio description. So how I create this, I use this machine. I think that everyone knows. And here is the way I try to transfer the visual image into the tactile image. And here's I use the 3D printing machine to try to create like the relief material. Okay, so they can touch and understand the more information from the real original one. Okay, I created the 3D and use a multimedia or multi-material to help them. And this one also we also set up the inactive the sensor audio here. And this one is another one, because if you use the original one and just try to transfer to tactile diagram, but this one the image is from the one point perspective, so the object will strand, not the real shapes. So even you touch the tactile diagram, you don't understand the real size of the shark or the animal. So we try to use the real layer scale to help the blind people to understand the real content in the image. And here, this one is another one. I just show you some more the case. And this one is the catalog. I create a new one catalog with a large print and with braille. And here is the Japanese professor from Osaka and come to Taiwan to visit this exhibition. And last one is architecture. I think so 2 years ago. Okay, I skipped the video because you can see the normal or the original the spatial room. It's like this. And I also want to create one exhibition for anyone. So children, or you are expert, or you are just the normal people, you can come. But I try to another way. I try to emerge the all touchable or audio description and the braille information into the normal spatial room. Okay, so people also can come here and touch the tactile map. And here is a guide break indoor in on the ground, so they can feel and know, oh yeah, here is a guide point, and I should stop, and I can listen the audio description, or the iBeacon device can auto trigger. Okay, another one is a 3D object. They also can touch. And here is the you can feel the all information in the exhibition, and I transfer and translate into a braille. So you can see the many dots on the wall, and you can touch the line on the wall, or you can bring your own with the your visiting. So I create some the fix the object, the accessible object, and also made the flexible, or you can bring with you. Okay, here's auto trigger the audio description, and they can touch and the hearing together. Okay, it's final. The conclusion, I think the visual art should show with the no limitation, because the visual art not only for vision. You should give them more sensory can understand or can create. So we have to try to help increase the diversity of the art form. And the second one, I think the need of the people with visual impairs, their need should be on the base to improve the development of the university design and accessible for all, because we know the elderly people, we have more and more elderly people, then so we create accessible material or information not only for blind people, it's for all or for our future. So the last one, I think the cultural equality policy is not only just a slogan. You have to give the practical um, in practice in daily life, so we can create the social inclusive uh, in the future. So sorry, maybe I missed some the information, and my maybe I presentation is not very clear, but here's what I want to share today, and here's my the belief. Uh, what I'm do these years, I always believe art is for all, but art also should be fun all. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. That's a beautiful way to wrap up the presentation. Um, and Dr. Zhao, if you have a chance to just go to the chat box, we've been sharing some
Oh,
more information, just like links to your YouTube videos and so on and so forth. So there's a lot passion, I think, on the subject you've just shared. And because of the time, I have been just encouraging students to post questions in the chat box. But just in case we don't get to get through all of the questions, maybe after the session we can still collect the questions and I'll send it to Dr. Giles for you to respond to, if that's okay.
no problem.
Yeah, but I think it's just fascinating to just think about what you've done ever since you started, or ever since that first session for you as a school teacher teaching that blind student to create art, and your belief that art should be from everybody, art should be for everybody. And I was just wondering if there's any burning questions you want to ask. Just turn your
Uh,
mic on. Yeah. Okay.
well, I have typed my feedback and
Sure.
in the chat box. So, uh, okay, I just quickly read it. I have heard saying that the blind people will think that the sighted person is another higher creature. Like can't imagine how the sighted people uh, uh, live in the world. Therefore, I think your plan is very good, shortening the psychological distance between the two kinds of people. But we still have to be careful about the psychological status of pity, sympathy, and inferiority. They are easy to produce in the process. So maybe we can give the visually impaired an interactive experience of expressing feelings or thought after visiting the exhibition. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
just a
for your
comment.
response.
Yeah, and before we get to Alan's question, I want to quickly ask, because you've been doing such an amazing job, but how much additional effort do you need to put into it? I'm speaking of instrumentally, financially. Do you need to budget for that, for money, how much time do you need in order to make this happen?
So I think my life is always very busy because I have to now my association. I also have the full-time worker in my association, so I have to manage and try to apply the many of
Funding.
funding, yeah, from government. I also will got some the funding from the private company or some foundation. So I think now the one the 一起梦想. I don't know if you know the one very famous the foundation in Taiwan. They try to help the very small, very tiny non-profit, and they try to help them to um, uh, donate donate from the internet, but maybe everyone can just donate $100 and every month. But if you give the only $100 every month, but you can give the 1 year, the 12 months. So the list of donation will help the tiny nonprofit to maybe pay the administration fee or some the rental or some that like the some the part-time worker. So now I I'm benefit from the foundation, but I also will apply like the 联圈the uh, and and for my I always try to combine my research, my teaching, and my uh, association together. So, like the application I developed in the National Taiwan of Museum of Fine Arts, I always tell everyone when I give the talk, when I give the lesson, or I teach the university student, I will ask them to download and try to use them. Yeah, so even now I know that in Taipei the blind school, their teacher try to use the app, the content, to be their the teaching material. So that's why I want to do and I want to see, because I think that I don't want need to just create or do the things only for very few people, but I want to let everyone know everyone will need this. And if you need this and you will use this in the future, then you will pay attention, then you will respect the anything the blind people can do and what they do in the visual art field. Yeah.
Do you ever have trouble or challenges persuading people to do this?
Yes. Because I think the every time I give talk,
Uh-huh.
because you are all a special education expert,
Yeah.
yeah, so you I think that you will believe the blind people can do, but many people they don't need it.
Mm.
And the first one is color. they
Mm.
they always adopt me why I need to teach them color, but I always tell them um, the first one is the blind people, they are not all lose their vision from birth.
Mhm.
So only I think so only 5% is the early blind people in Taiwan. But even the early blind people, they also need to learn the color information in their daily life, like the why we need to pick up the clothes we
Mhm.
want to wear, and why we will like the weather or the season. They also connect with the color. So I think the color experiments not only from vision, they well with the our maybe temperature, our hearing, yeah. So anything we can feel in our daily life. So that's why I will emphasize that really important. So I will try to tell them the truth and tell them the what the early blind people need and they want to do as the normal people. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not easy. Alan, I think you have a question.
Yes, I have a question. So, uh,
Hello.
I just wanted. Hello, hello.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I just want to ask if it is the ordinary camera which is used, like where I can see a picture. Then besides the normal picture, there is the tactile picture kind of. So what type of the camera do you use? Do you use the normal one or there is a special type of camera you use? Like when I get a picture, then it is going to duplicate the tactile picture.
Sorry, I could not hear very clearly.
Okay,
So
so let me reiterate. So Alan was asking when teachers are teaching, so
photography.
they need to, do they use the spatial type of camera when teaching? So it's easier to create for the tactile thing or to create tactile materials, or is it just the usual one, if I'm hearing it correctly?
The camera, the
Mhm.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just use the very
Regular.
normal one. Yeah, but I will choose they have the button or they have the and the traditional one and the easy one. So they can feel and they can put the battery or the memory card by themselves. But for now, I think the many blind people they will use the smartphone. Yeah, they will use a smartphone. Then, but they use the function, the voice over and the talk back. And many apps they offer the visual recognition and try to translate into the text and voice. So, like the Tap Tap C, if you download, you can just search Tap Tap C, Tap Tap C, and the app is original to designed for blind people to take picture, and they will try to record the words or number from the picture, and they can know the like the bill or the box, the date, then will understand the information. But now, more and more the blind people will use this app to try to take picture. Yeah. So I think the more and more technology will help them to their daily life or their the visual skill better in the future. So especially the big data technology, the technique will help them. So like the FB, the Facebook, if you upload the one picture, then the some area, as far I know, some area, some country, their system will just recognize the content by themselves. Then the blind people can read and they can hear the content from the computer. Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Oh, Nian Fan, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'm very glad to see so many examples on visual impaired and how to educate and making the exhibitions. But I'm curious to know how supportive is National Taiwan Art Museum, and how is their attitude toward museum accessibility? It seems like it has devoted a great budget on visual impairment, but how many visual impaired people actually visit the museum each year? Is there any concern about not making this kind of devotion on other type of disabilities?
Okay, thank you for your question. You also work in museum, right? Okay. Okay. Actually, the National Taiwan Museum is the spatial museum. I think that in 2012, the government tried to I think order, or we have said our museum, you have to do spatial for visual impaired audience. So you have to create some exhibition or the more and more the service for visual impairment audience. So the government give the many funding to to museums. So that's why I can develop the application, but it's really expensive. Like you just download the app. I think the first year I spent the one the how to say that, one 1 million, 1 million, yeah, $1 million, $1 million the first year. But later I have the 2 and 3, the third year, and to develop and to create the more and more content and the guide tool. So I think the already $3 million on this the app. And how many the blind audience come to our museum? I think that we have another colleague. Um, he will help to like the give the guide tool and the workshop for the blind people. They can apply. I think in the first years, uh, museum have to call the nonprofit to try to invite them. And we also set up the spatial guide tool on Thursday morning. So every 2 weeks, we offer the guide tool for blind visitors. But I think because people they don't know this service. So I think the first 3 years we have to invite many the nonprofits to come, but after that they will apply it by themselves. Yeah, they will know. Oh, yeah, this museum offer this service, and we can try to find a friend and come the go to there together, and they will offer many the art workshop for us. So they will they will apply by themselves. So for now, I think that at least 1,000 people. Not only blind people, but we also offer the deaf people and the mental problem, the people with a mental problem, or the elderly people with Alzheimer. Yeah, we also invite them. So I think over the 1,000 audience every year come to our museum to use the service and visit our exhibitions. I know the income, yeah, yeah. You usually offer the sculpture and poetry, the artwork for the blind people. I think this is a very good way because the material is can touchable. But in our museum, we only have the painting and the many the installation artwork, so it's not touchable. So I think that you have the many opportunity to offer the more and more exhibition, or service for the blind people.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So I was also thinking that many of the activities might also benefit students or people with other type of disability, because I could totally see students with intellectual disability benefiting from having those kind of multi-sensory activity. I'm aware of the time, and it's a very, very fruitful session. I hope you all have learned a lot. But I understand that for Dr. Zhao, she's been speaking for over an hour by now.
Sorry.
But it's thank you so much for sharing the good things and also the challenges you encounter in promoting this kind of programs. I know many of you probably will have more questions. We will probably move to the Jamboard. So if you have other questions, I hope Dr. Zhao would be,
You can email to me. No
yeah,
problem.
able to answer it so we can continue this learning opportunity with you. Okay? All right,
Okay.
and I'll also share. So this recording will be shared internally, but I will also share the link to download for you because you may just use it for your other classes, probably. So, any last minutes burning questions that you? Okay.
I share the official website
Yeah.
uh from my association. So maybe you can just if you interesting and have time, then but
Mhm.
only have the Chinese information. Sorry about that. But you can use the Google translation
Yeah.
functions. Yeah. Then I think I think last week I just offer the audio
Yeah.
information from my book. So I think that
Yeah.
you can
So I
hear.
shared the link was above, so it's in the chat room. I will send it
Yeah.
again to the students, and also please go
Okay.
ahead and download the very awesome app and use
Thank you.
it in class. Um, I think if we don't have any last minute burning question, that's it for today. Thank you for your participation, and that's give a round of another round of applause for Dr.
Thank
Zhao.
you. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Zhang.
so much.
Oh, we forgot to take a group photo. Couple of students need to step away because they have other job, but can we do another group photo just quickly?
Should I turn
Yeah.
off my show my
Can
screen?
would you stop sharing screen so I can take a
Yeah.
photo of everybody
Yeah.
who's still with us? Hold on a second. Okay, there you are. When we can't see you, but we will Photoshop you in. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Yay. Awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll keep in touch. So
Okay. No problem.
see you
Keep
next
in touch.
time.
Okay. Bye.
Oh no.
Okay, bye. Thank you, teacher.
Bye. Thank
Okay, see
Thank you.
you.
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
All right. Thank you. So I'll see you next Friday. Bye.